2023 will go down in history as the year artificial intelligence really took off. Now, South African legal professionals and students are beginning to see actual integration of AI and chatbots into their daily lives. Now, legal practitioners can and have started to employ technology like ChatGPT to improve the quality of their work, but they need to do so cautiously. Now, an education expert, however, warns legal professionals must ensure they use AI as a complementary and augmentation tool, not a replacement for human insight and due diligence. Now, Natalie Martin is the head of program in law at the Independent Institute of Education and joins us virtually from here in Johannesburg for more. Natalie, thank you so much for your time this evening. You know, for most people, this kind of technology has been sneaking into everyday life in little ways. I suppose when we started talking to the Alexas and the Googles of the world, that was the beginning of the so-called end. And then just yesterday, a friend posted a thing on Instagram saying he took a photo of a wall of books and said, right, ChatGPT, tell me of all of these books and everything you know about the books that I like, which ones should I be looking at? And he got an answer. But when it comes to using this technology in a serious space or sphere, like law, we do have to be more careful, don't we? What are your first few things that you tell people in your legal space about what they need to ensure they do before using this technology in their very important work?
Thank you so much, Marcel, for having me. So the very first thing that I would tell people is don't be afraid. Technology is coming at us and we need to learn how to embrace it. It's a conversation we're constantly having in the education space, just to make sure that we are actually trying to do new things with it. So be open to whatever might happen, but don't completely trust it. And that's where we've been seeing the shortfalls, is where practitioners are relying on it to replace their actual knowledge and the years that they've put into studying it. So definitely go for it, play around with it, ask all the strange and wonderful questions, but don't just take the answer as the answer.
And that cautiousness comes from the fact that already there are those in the legal fraternity who have been caught, for want of a better phrase, with their pants down, I suppose, presenting legal casework using ChatGPT and not realizing that the merits of the cases that they were using had actually been bogus, because ChatGPT does have its flaws, doesn't it? And we've been told so by experts in various fields.
Absolutely. We had an American case that happened earlier in the year where the plaintiff provided a certain amount of fictitious cases in which they made certain allegations supporting their claim. We've subsequently had it happen in South Africa as well, unfortunately. But the interesting thing has been is that neither of these people, or none of the people that have actually been found to have done this, have been penalized by the courts. They've almost been like slapped on the hand and said, well, you're embarrassed enough, so you won't do it again. And it's almost a learning curve for everyone.
Yeah, and I suppose the big thing that needs to be remembered, and I suppose in all fields where this technology is used, that it cannot replace that face-to-face interaction. When a lawyer who's representing somebody goes in to meet with a new client for the first time, the sense of the person that they get, the story, how they bring the story across to them, if it's that kind of case, that cannot be replaced by a robot or technology, can it? But it can help when it comes to, I suppose, what one could call the grunt work, the paperwork, I suppose, that could free lawyers up to focus on more important face-to-face work.
Absolutely. Like I was saying, there's so much knowledge that comes with practice, a number of years of practice, that ChatGPT cannot replace. So it's important to rely on that as a legal practitioner. However, the opportunity to use ChatGPT to assist in removing some of the menial tasks, I suppose we could call, or what a lot of us did as article clerks, that opportunity is there, and that allows more time for you to spend investing in actually learning more about honing in your skills. So that's why I said earlier on, you wouldn't actually want people to move away from it. You want them to embrace it, just don't rely on it. Because at the moment, you can use it for your due diligence. It's been happening for years, your research. Now, such things as simple as pagination, so putting the documents together quicker. It saves time and money for both your client and yourself.
In your opinion, have law schools and indeed legal education institutions embraced AI as it readies and prepares lawyers to go out into the industry?
I think that everyone is trying. We've been having conversations with different organizations, so not just ours. It's a constant conversation within our organization to try and find out how do we incorporate it, because it's not going away. It's just like Google. When Google came out, it was like suddenly you had access to answers, but we can't be scared of that. We have to use it, find a way to use it that's actually going to benefit the student and the student's learning experience, and then ultimately what it's going to be for them in practice. So in certain modules, we have particularly looked at introducing them to certain aspects of AI, and I know that it's happening in other organizations as well.
When it comes to ethics, I'm sure AI has made for very interesting discussions in our legal classrooms around ethics. But is it necessary then, when lawyers have used AI in certain parts of the casework that they're doing, do you think we're at a point where we need to start declaring that before the process starts rolling?
I think so. You can't rely on not that you can't rely, you should not state certain facts and information if you're not able to explain where you've gotten it from. So it's fine for you to actually use AI to assist you. Just don't try and take the credit for it alone. So again, like what we are teaching our students to do is to rely on referencing it correctly in their assignments or assessments, so that we know that you're using it. Just tell us that you're using it so that we can properly assess you and show you the right way to use it, the responsible way. So definitely you need to disclose it, because ultimately it does come back to you. Unfortunately, legal practitioners are learning very quickly.
Indeed, arm yourself with as much information as possible. Good advice in all fraternities, not just in the legal world. Thank you so much for your time and your insights this evening. That's Natalie Martin, the head of program in law at the Independent Institute of Education.